everyone. This is update for January 29, 2023, day 340 of the war and of the date update. So first, sort of housekeeping. I see your questions about what the 1917 moment means, what's the right energy policy, and I apologize. I will focus on that, and I have not prepared this whole energy sort of overview. It's just big and interconnected, but I basically what I will do, I'll start doing it sort of piecemeal in smaller bites, so it's doable. It will take a little more videos, but eventually we'll cover it. So, but in short, the answer, there was a question from one of the viewers. So what's the right energy policy? The right energy policy is, the first thing is to restore freedom. And that's what's lost in the West. And that's why it's at war with itself. But we'll discuss it in detail, so it's, everybody can understand why it is actually really important, and how you will be able to sort of feel it and understand it, why. So it's not just abstract term, okay, freedom, what it means. So, okay, I'm just going to focus right now on one more other update on Iran. So it looks like there is this, continuing attacks on Iran. You cannot destroy the whole military infrastructure there in just one hit. So this is going to be probably, we'll see what happens. But if there is desire to completely take out Iran military-wise, it will take quite a while, by the way. It will, I don't know, could take a month easily, could be even more. So if this is just kind of like a warning slap on the wrist for Iran, then it will stop in a day or two. And what that really means, that Iran will be much more careful, but they will continue doing what they're doing. So it means like it just, how to say, a lot to do about nothing. So things will sort of return to where they are. So we'll see if we see that the attacks has stopped in a day or two. That really means it was just slap on the wrist, and Iran will be much more careful about how it does what it does, but it will continue. There is no question about it. If there is desire, if this is more spreading into sort of closer to widespread conflict, or people call it World War III, if you want to call it that way, you can call it that way. Then the attack will continue for a while. And then one more note is, there are a lot of people recent days saying like, okay, the war will start in 2025 or whatever, 2024. In reality, nobody knows. We will find out post factum after this happens. If we are right now in 1912, 1913, or 1914, nobody really knows. If we are in 1939 or 1938 or even 1940, still unclear. We will be very clear once things will really start unfolding. But so that's why I think all of these prognostications are to a great extent useless. The most important part is that different parts of the world are on a collision course, and the timing is in a way unpredictable of that. And who knows, maybe we'll be lucky and everything is just gonna somehow will dissipate, let's put it this way, which I'm skeptical, but you can always, I said hope is is for the losers, but in this situation, let's hope. Now let's actually hope for Ukraine. Let's look what's going on the battlefield there. We're going to start in a clockwise fashion, starting from very north and then moving down south in a clockwise fashion, as I said. So situation along the state border more or less stable. As I said, there were some incursions of Russian reconnaissance group here near Kharkiv, but that just it doesn't mean much, at least not now. The reason I'm saying this is for the same reason that I'm saying that the attack out of Belarus is completely unrealistic, is because Russia does not have enough troops to do that. And for the same reason, I'm saying that Russia cannot attack on this much shortened front line, starting from here south of Valyuky and going all the way to, was it like let's say here, was it Kaminsky or something like that, is because they don't have enough boots on the ground to do like many offensives at the same time. So they can do only limited offensives. The same true for Ukraine. Just not enough resources on both sides, even though the density has increased significantly relative to the beginning of the war. But so it reminds more closer, let's say, World War II, World War One, because before, as I said, it was more like reminding like North Africa campaign of 1942. So sort of more similar towards that. Not everywhere, it was still mixed, but now it's more like, okay, there's a lot of sort of rhyme with World War One and World War Two, like more so like Eastern Front, or the generally World War One, Western and Eastern fronts. Okay, now let's jump to the North Lugansk front line. Things here are more or less same, stable. Russian command holds initiative here. They sort of attempting this attacks without much success. So in a way, as I said, the situation here is more or less stable for now. Now let's move to North Donbass front line, where things are really deteriorating, as you can see. So Russian troops again made some advances towards this village Vasyukivka. So what this really means is they are sort of covering flank of this group that attacks out of Blagodatne in their, I call it southwestern direction, or more or less. Let me actually move a little bit sort of to this sort of map where it also covers southern part. So as you can see, so this one is basically, the goal here is to kind of protect flank of this group that's going to be attacking out of Blagodatne. And next objective is to get on this road that goes from Bahmut to Slavyansk. So that's sort of the main goal here. This attack here is just to keep Ukrainian troops, glued here, so that reinforcements cannot be moved elsewhere. So that's just the whole point of attack here. And then this attack towards Ivanivsky, so far it does look like it's somewhat bogged down, or at least there is no new advances here. But once the fighting starts in Ivanivsky, then situation will become very, very difficult, because then this road that goes through Khromovo will come under fire control by the Russian army, and the problem will be not so much that, yes, you can supply, but you cannot resupply in adequate quantities to keep the defenses operating. So basically, it's like you're going to be slowly cut off from oxygen, and at first it like, okay, you can do, and then like less oxygen, and eventually you kind of forced out of Bakhmut essentially. So as I said, this is probably happening sooner than later. Oh, another news I forgot to mention about those Abrams tanks from the U.S. So I saw somewhere in the news is that they are going to be coming at the end of 2023, which again, it's meaning it from a perspective of this war, it means never. So that just sort of again, a lot of hope and a lot of false hopes. Let's put it this way. Then what's going on here is, you can see Wagner mercenaries, they trying to actually establish like significant bridgehead on the western side of this freshwater channel. So they are attacking out of Kurdyivka and Lazaryanivka. Don't know if they're gonna succeed or not, but they do try to sort of basically establish bridgehead here, because then you can make even more sort of dangerous move if you turn north. That's really gonna crush significant portion of the front line. So the blow is gonna be much more devastating if they succeed, and then they will succeed in moving out of these bridgeheads. But so far, this is very, very far, like extremely remote probability. But it just kind of tells you what's on the mind of the commanders of this Wagner group so far. But again, as you can see, every day is, small collapse of the front line here and there. And as I said before, looks like Ukrainian troops are not holding on anymore. And I explained before, the reason is apparently, people on the ground, like regular soldiers, fed up with ineptness of Ukrainian commanders, and they decided that it's time to change. That's just sort of working hypothesis. I'm not saying that I have sort of took a survey of everybody and know for sure, but based on what's happening, that's most likely explanation and scenario going on. Now let's move to central Donbass front line. So things here are sort of the same, not changing. Attacks out of Pisky Salient, Marinka, without really any real advances. And then Vuhledar. So far, it looks like Ukrainian troops are holding on. The 72nd Brigade is holding on. They, suffer losses. Russian troops also suffer heavy losses. But so far, they were not able to penetrate defenses here. If Vuhledar falls, this really may mean collapse of this whole section that starts from Marinka, goes to Novomikhailivka, Vuhledar, and to Velika Novosilka. This may really kind of like start moving, where I'm showing like the next sort of stopping is like Kurakhove, Shakhtarske, and Spenikov. So this can mean, and Marinka will be lost as well, and potentially also here Krasnohorivka. So basically, this might be like become something like that, what I'm showing. But so far, Ukrainian troops, the 72nd Brigade is holding on, but Russian troops are attacking fiercely, and part of the reason for that is that the Russian regular military command wants to show results, because they are competing with Wagner Group. And Wagner Group shows results, and they don't show results, so which is not good, as you can imagine. And they all sort of, fighting for the favor of the Russian president. And so far, they have nothing to show, and having a lot more resources than Wagner Group. What that really means is that resources will be channeled more to Wagner Group if it captures Bahmut in, let's say, next 10-15 days. Then it will open up doors for more resources, more power to Wagner Group, and obviously Russian military command, regular Russian military command, does not obviously like that, does not want that, so they try to prevent that. So in a way, this attack here is more even driven by the sort of internal political fighting within these factions, rather than any kind of like military logic, because attacking Vuhledar is almost like it in a way it's like suicidal attacks. It's just the worst place to attack. But nevertheless, they try. Then in terms of the Zaporizhya front line, I'm not gonna even look. It's the same. It's quiet right now. There was that probe there, close to Dnipro River, but for now it's, I guess I'll show this whole Kaminsky, Rikhiv, and all the way to Gulyai-Pilske. So there was a, testing Ukrainian defenses, and apparently the action was abandoned just for now. As you can see, there's also 38 Brigade here now. So, but let's say there are more clouds on the horizon. So there is 36 Brigade that's operating in the Vuhledar area. By the way, just want to mention that there's also another unit here. So you can see that Russian command is really trying to create a significant advantage here in this area and try to sort of breach, like kind of create brute force breach of Ukrainian defenses here, but so far without luck. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and till tomorrow. Thanks. Bye bye.